Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to go over how to create an AI content machine so that way you can deploy content at scale with little to no effort on your part. I'm going to show you a pretty basic version just not to overwhelm you guys. As you get more comfortable, feel free to add on, remix it, stack it up, create more layers, and see how far you can take it, because I've definitely done it since I've started. So the first thing that we want to do today is we want to go to a website called make.com. So that's the actual website. Make.com is basically a platform similar to N8N. In the last video, I showed you guys N8N, but when I started doing AI and automations, I started with Make. And to be quite honest, it's pretty user-friendly, it's easier, and it just gets you sort of in the mind state and comfort of knowing how to deal with these sorts of things. Okay, so when you happen to come to the site for the first time, what you're going to want to do is you're going to make an account. So you'd probably go over here to get started now. I'm going to log in. You make that account. I'm pretty sure it's free. They're going to give you an ability to sort of use it for a bit at no cost, depending on what you're doing with it. And then from that point on, obviously, you know, they'll charge you, but it might be like 10 bucks a month and you could do a lot of stuff for that amount. Okay. So I'm now in my account. I'm going to create a new scenario just to keep it over here, and we'll circle back to this in a moment, okay? At the same time, I want you to go to a website called RSS.app, as you see here, RSS.app. You're going to make an account there as well. I already have one, but same idea, log in, make an account. And just to give you an idea of what an RSS app, like what an RSS feed is, essentially it's a compilation of articles and data from a variety of sources such as websites, social platforms, etc. And what's really cool about it is it lets you search based on either keyword, a specific website, newsletters, topics, as you see here, categories, and you sort of can then pull back all the articles that are relative to your search. So in our example, let's just stick with real estate, as most of us are realtors. I mean, after all, this is the automated realtor. So let's just go to Canada real estate. Now, by the way, this is what you would do on my end. I'm pretty sure I've maxed out all my feeds, so I may not be able to. Okay, exactly as I thought. You're going to do that. That's going to create a feed for you. I already have one, okay, and this is what they are. So I have Canadian real estate with Yahoo, Mortgage Canada, yada yada yada, basically a bunch of different things. What you can then do is you can take all those various feeds that you can create, that you've created, which I think you could do up to like 15. I think RSS charges, it might be like 10 or 20 bucks a month, maybe. But what it allows you to do is you can compile all these feeds and then essentially turn it into a bundle, meaning it'll look something like this. So let's go with Ultimate News. And what that means is I've taken all my feeds, so like Toronto real estate as a keyword, Toronto real estate from the Globe and Mail, stories, financial posts, Canadian mortgage trends, better dwelling, etc. And it's now actually taken all those articles and it's piled it and packaged it together into one stream feed known as a bundle, which is awesome. So once you create this, okay, so you make an account with RSS, you create your first feed based on keywords, website, whatever the case is, then it'll look something like this once you've done this. At the very top here, there's a website, okay? Now, the more feeds you have connected and turned into a bundle, which you can do over here. So if you go to bundle, you can just create new bundle, and then it shows you all your feeds, and you simply just click it off. And the stuff you click off then becomes a bundle. And then when you have your bundle, you just, let's go to Ultimate News, you click into it, and then it shows you that it's just a compilation of all articles over here, packaged and put together into a singular bundle, okay? So over here, we'll go based on last added, and then over here, this is the key. So you get this website, this is to the feed, to the bundle, you copy it, okay? You swing back over to Make. Now, again, for those of you that are new to Make, which I'm sure many of you are, don't let it intimidate you. This should be fun. It's exciting. It's interesting. This is how I got started. And of course, obviously, I think it goes without saying, for the first little bit, it's going to seem a little bit uncomfortable. But to be honest with you, once it starts clicking and it starts making sense, I think you're going to get a really good feeling of a reward out of this, because it really is fun. I don't know if I'm a nerd or if it actually is fun, but I think it is. So RSS. So now these are all various modules. Okay. So remember when we first got in here, it shows up like this. Okay. This is a blank slate. So you click the plus or the trigger and it shows you all these modules. And N8N, by the way, it's called nodes, and Make, it's called modules. Well, it doesn't matter. These are all different applications that Make is connected to or has the ability to connect to. That then means you can actually connect each other with. So for instance, like I could take RSS and I can connect it with Gmail and a bunch of other things along the way to create automations and AI workflows that make life really easy and fun. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just search for RSS. You want to click watch RSS feed. And the reason for that is because that means that it's going to trigger the automation in real time every time a new article hits. Okay. And that's important because you want it to sort of be up to date. You want it to be relevant and you don't want to do anything really manually if you don't have to. So remember this, we got this, we copied it. We're going to go back here and we're going to paste it. Okay. And now we can decide how many articles do we want to have returned to us each and every time this automation runs. That's entirely up to you. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep it as one. Okay. And we're going to save. And because it's the first time running it, we can either do it from now on, but because I want to use this as an example, I'm going to select the first RSS feed item. So these are all the articles based on my bundle, and I'm going to get to pick where I want to start. So I'm just going to click this one at the most recent one, save. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to test to make sure that the module and the step and the connection works. Okay, so you run this module only. Boom, it works. Great. So we got all this information back. And, obviously it's giving us HTML. Now, obviously HTML is internet language for websites, and that doesn't really work well for us when it comes to connecting this to AI, which is part of our plan and purpose as part of this content machine that we're going to be building. So the next thing that I want to do, and guys, I promise when I started, this was confusing, it was foreign, it was frustrating, it was all the things you might feel. Just go into it with an open mind, try to conceptually understand logically what it is I'm trying to do and why it is that we're doing it, and that's already more than half the battle. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click plus, and what I need to now do, because remember, here's the issue, I'm getting HTML. HTML, that language, that sort of internet-based language is not good when it comes to feeding that into AI. I don't want that, okay? I want clean, plain text data. So to do that, the first thing I want to do is I actually want to get the website and I want to download all the content of the website. So I'm going to go to HTTP, and this is, again, you don't have to remember this, but over time, all you're going to do is you're going to go to HTTP, and you have different reasons to use these various options, which are all really cool and we'll get into in future videos. But you click get a file. This is going to allow you, based on a URL or website input, to basically download the full content of a file. Pretty cool. It's almost like a scrape, I suppose. Okay, it is in theory. So I'm going to click URL here. Okay. Now what that means is I've now taken the website, which I've gotten from here in my feed, and I've given it to this. So now what should happen is I should be able to download the entire website. Okay. I'm just going to choose where to start again because I already ran it and I ran it to the most recent one. So I'm going to have to do it. So I'll click it again and let's see what happens when I run it from the beginning. So it works. So by the way, it goes green and you get this sort of notification. You'll know when it works and you'll definitely know when it doesn't. Okay. So I click here and I'm looking for data. This part here, it's a long string. Great. So this is the whole website. All of it, all the stuff that you don't see. It's all the code that gives it the look, the way it looks. But within it, there's an article. And if I scroll down further, so that's the metadata, blah, blah, don't really care. Let's keep going. It's nice. Websites are pretty to the naked eye, huh? But beneath it all, look how much crap there is. Let me see. Somewhere in here is the actual article. It doesn't really matter for us, but I do know it's there because we just basically downloaded everything. Let me see if I could find it. Okay, hold on. We're going to scroll, and then at some point, interesting. Let's see. And by the way, as I've said before, guys, I like to do this in real time. So that way, if I do stumble into any issues, you can see me try to solve in real time. I think it's more realistic. I don't like to do these sort of polished videos where, like, oh, it's all perfect. Because the reality is, when I started and I would see content creators doing that sort of stuff, it used to frustrate me, to be completely honest with you. And because when I would go to do it, it was anything but easy and simple. It was a fucking nightmare. So, yeah. Okay, so here's what I think could have happened. Okay, so we're getting all the content of it, but sometimes we don't have access to the actual website, depending on the paywall, firewall, whatever it is. Like, so some of the news article providers or websites, so like Financial Post, whatever, unless you're a subscriber and you're paying for it, they may block the content. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, and that could be the case here, but I just want to try something else, is I want to choose where to start, and I want to go here again. And I just want to try a different article and see what happens. So we're going to click this one here. And we're going to click run. And now let's see what it says. Okay, so we're getting the same idea when it comes to the data. So it's all of it. And then somewhere along the way here, we should keyword should. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do text parser. So I'm actually going to translate the HTML, okay? Instead of trying to figure it out, because sometimes I like to do things harder unnecessarily, what you can do is it captured everything, okay? So essentially what we're doing is we create that feed. You create that feed through RSS, right? Like we went over. It then starts kicking you out articles based on a timer period of time that you want. So this can be daily, hourly, whatever you want, doesn't matter, okay? Once we get the article, like once we get the RSS from it, we want to actually obtain the entire full article. So that way we can clean it up, have it summarized, and create content on top of it so it's organic and fresh. So it's not like I'm sitting here and trying to think, what should I talk about in my content and read 1,000 articles. I could literally just use this basically to create really good content. So we've gotten the entire content of the website, right, where the article came from. And now what we want to do is we want to take the HTML, which is the internet language that's used on websites, and we want to convert it to clean text. So what I'm going to do here is I'm simply going to go to data. And as you can see, every time I use one of these modules, I'm just passing in information or data from the prior module. So like we start here, I give it the URL, which is the feed link, right? The website to the feed. Then over here, this gave me the actual website to the article. So if I went to this website, this would be the article that it pulled for me. So I'm now feeding it to this. By feeding it to this, it's now downloading the entire content of the website right here, okay? The issue is it's giving it to me in HTML, which, as we already know, looks like this and is hard for us to work with, right? So the next natural step is we want to take this and we want to clean it up by taking HTML and turning it into text, okay? So now we're going to save that. And by the way, get into the habit of saving, just because when you don't, sometimes you could lose your work and it sucks. So I'm going to choose where to start from again. And it doesn't really matter. Let's do this one. Or actually this one. Okay. And let's run it, transform. Okay, that's fine. Just for now. So that worked. Now let's see what we got. So now, as you can see, it's given us text. Okay. And within here, we want to get an article. So it's not actually interesting. It's actually not giving us the full article, and that's because I think this is either a video. So that article was either video based or something, and that's not what we're doing this for. So we're just gonna pick something else, and it should work. Let's try this. Okay. So by the time it gets here, what it should do is should give us an entire article. Okay. So this seems like somebody wrote this. This is like an editorial or something. And as you can see, this is the content of the article. Okay, so pretty cool. Okay, so far it's doing what we want. Awesome. So we're going to save. We're going to do that. And then the next thing that we want to do is we want to introduce an OpenAI or ChatGPT module. Okay, so when you go into this, again, you click here to add because you're moving linear left to right, right? And you're simply going to go to OpenAI. Then you're going to show more. And what we're looking for is create a completion. Create a completion means we're putting in a request and we're going to get something back. Okay. And getting something back, we're going to get a response based on a request that we've made. And that's exactly what we need right now because I just want to simply get a summary of that content. Okay. So we're going to do this. And then the model, we can use 4.0 mini. We don't need anything fancy right here. For completion tokens, leave it as is. 4.0 mini is so cheap that it doesn't matter. So by the way, the usage cost really depends on how many tokens it uses. Tokens represent how many characters of words the AI has processed. Okay, so the more it processes, the more expensive it costs. However, when it comes to 4.0 mini, it's so cheap, it's in the pennies, and it does a really good job for this purpose, so we don't have to worry. If you ever wanted to use something a little bit better, you can try 4.0. It's more expensive. It'll cost you a couple bucks versus pennies. But for this, I usually just do with 4.0 mini. Okay. So again, you're going to have to go add an account. And the way to do this, by the way, just like last time, so you'll create a connection name it whatever you want. You need the API key. Okay. And to create an API key, you actually have a link right here. So if I click it, like I have an account, but you would sign up, you would create an account, and then there's a section in there where you would actually get your API key. And I showed this in a different video. So once you get that API key, you just simply paste it here, and then you establish the connection, and you'll have access, okay? Once you have that, you want to go to messages. You want to start by creating a role. The role, as you can see, you have user, assistant, and system. So the way I do it and the way that's been working for me pretty well is I usually do a system followed by user prompt. So for system, I give it role. Now, by the way, in case you're wondering what this stuff is, this is called Markdown. So I don't know if it's actually true, but I use this because basically I think that the AI, so the language learning model, or the large language model, basically has an easier time understanding context when spoken to this way. Okay, so we have role over here, and I'm simply going to say you're an expert. Again, this doesn't really matter at summarizing news articles. Your strengths are in dissecting the content. Oops, how do I spell that? There we go. Dissecting the content within the article, finding interesting keys of data, and then outputting a 2 to 3 sentence concise summary. Okay. And then you could add tasks. Again, remember role, tasks, steps, all that stuff. We don't need to go into depth because it's pretty simple. Tasks, you will be given an article in plain text. Your job is to create a succinct summary of it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. We've basically given it a role. We've given it a task. So this is no different than, say you're hiring somebody to do something. How would you explain it to them? I mean, this is your job. This is what you do. This is how you do it, right? So it's kind of the same idea. And then over here, I go to user, and I basically say, here is the data for you to summarize. Okay, whoops, this. And then all I do is I click on the text, which I've gone from here. So remember, let's go from the beginning. Step 1, you create an RSS feed, okay? Just like we saw at the beginning. based on parameters and pieces of interest that you have, regardless of the industry you're in. If you want real estate, if you want economics, you want AI, doesn't matter, whatever you want, you create it there. Next thing you do is you take that feed, you take the link that it's given you, you paste it in here, okay? You run it, you do the get a file HTTP request by putting in the URL that this gave you. So you just do it like this. Then you need to take that you need to take the HTML that you got from the HTTP request, and you need to convert it from HTML to text like this, okay, by pushing in data. So now at this stage already here, we've basically gone the plain text, and now we're at a stage where we can have it all summarized, okay? Just like that. And of course, as always, I'll give you the template and I'll also provide the prompts. And that way you can simply plug and play when you do this on your own, okay? So we're gonna save that. And just for the purpose of ensuring it works, I'm gonna choose where to start again. And let's go with, let's see. Carney says about Trump on their phone call. Let's see, okay. So now this all worked. Now it's running through the summarizer. Let's see what it's given us back. So here's the result. Prime Minister Mark Carney reported that his conversation with US President Donald Trump was respectful and productive, focusing on establishing new economic and security discussions post-Canadian elections. Carney also emphasized Canada's intentions to impose retaliatory tariffs if the US goes ahead, blah, blah. So pretty good. Like, so think about what's happening in the background. All day long, articles can be pushing your way based on a stream of articles and content that you're interested in, subject to keywords, subject to websites, subject to platforms like YouTube and Twitter and blah, blah, blah. Okay? You're then taking that data, you're cleansing and cleaning it, you're turning it into something that the AI can actually digest, which is where we're at here. And just to make it simple, we'll rename it Summarizer. Okay, so you know, right? Each one kind of tells us what's going on. So now we're here, okay? So all day long now, at this stage, you're getting the data, you're getting the articles, you're getting the summary. The next thing we want to do is we want to add context, okay? So I'm a big fan, and again, I don't know how familiar you guys might be with this, but there's something called Perplexity. I absolutely love it. Perplexity is another AI company. So again, you have like OpenAI, you have Grok, you have all these different companies. But Perplexity, in my opinion, has really nailed research and analysis when it comes to the internet and subjects and stuff like that. And so what I now want to do, and do I have to use Perplexity? No. But I want to because it actually has access to the internet in real time. And equally, it does such a good job at analyzing and adding substance, which is actually what I do want. So that way, when I get the content that I'm creating, it's not just a spin of an article that exists. I need to add to it. I need it to be researched. So it's like I've kind of added like a research analyst staff member, so to speak, now to this whole process, okay? So what you would then do is you would look it up. So just like as I did with the plus, I typed in Perplexity and I'm looking for a chat completion. So I click it. And over here, you would have to go to add. Now, here's the issue, okay? Make is not it's not naturally integrated with Perplexity. You may have to pay for it. So you would go to this website here and you can do it that way, and it makes it super easy. They'll give you a license key, and then, you know, just for example, you would go to Google if you need to, and you go to Perplexity, and then, you know, you just go to their website and you create an account, and just like always, you basically seek to get that API key, okay? But in this case, because Perplexity is not native to Make, that means that you either have two choices. You can download it from here. I think it's like $30, $40 for lifetime access, which I actually did, and it's made my life super easy. Or you can do it without it, but then it's complicated and you would do it through something known as an HTTP request. And that's something that I'll end up doing with you guys later. But in this video, let's just use Perplexity, and I'll show you how it works. But keep in mind, you don't need to absolutely use Perplexity for this, but I do because it's got the real-time access, okay? So I already have my connection here. I'm gonna go to Sonar Pro, but you can easily get away with Sonar. And then, so that's the model, max tokens. I'm just going to leave blank for now. And then you have the message thing again. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with a system role. Again, I'm now giving a role to the AI on what its duties and job is. So I'm going to say, again, with the markdown role, your role is to be on, and again, I'm just winging it. And by the way, guys, whenever you're not sure about a prompt, take what you have, like the raw form of it, and just throw it into ChatGPT. And go back and forth, iterate with ChatGPT, and you'll end up with a really, really good prompt, okay? So, why is it saying this? Okay. Your role is to be an expert data analyst that scours the internet based on inputted data article that you're provided and give further context and substance to. Find no less than 3 to 5 articles that are directly connected to this, so that way we can enhance the overall substance quality of the data. Okay, so that will do for role. That's fine. Tasks. Let's say, I don't know. What would the tasks be? So, generate an analysis and outline for the data that you're provided with. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to actually go to OpenAI. So this is on my computer, and I just, as I said earlier, you could like literally just copy, go to OpenAI and say, hey, you're an expert at prompt engineering. Review my prompt and improve it to ensure the maximum potential output. So again, I'm just throwing things in and I want to see what happens. So now it's basically taken what I've given it and it's improved it. It's perfect. Like, I didn't even have to sit there and really word it. And so all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to paste it. And that's it. Okay. And just add the markdown so it knows what I'm talking about. And that's it. And then I'm going to add one more for user. Oops. So we're going to go user. Here is the article. So the article text. Okay. Here is the article source URL. Okay, so again, I'm just like able to go back in all these steps, and that's what's cool. You can pull and push all these pieces of data to basically do really cool and interesting things with it. So here's the URL. Okay, I'm just going to include some stuff here and see what happens. Here's the date that it was published. Oops. Today's date. So the reason I'm including today's date, because naturally it doesn't have context of date. I'll show you guys how to do this stuff a little bit later, but basically super quick. If you want to put in date anywhere, you go to this section here. So normally you would have this. You go to the calendar, you go to format date, okay? Over here, this section, you're just going to click now, and then you're going to do Y, I think. Let me see. Yeah. 4 Ys for the year, month, day, hour, minute, time. I'm doing this only because I want the AI to actually know what day it is and compare it against the date of the publishing. So maybe there's new information that came out from the time that the article was posted. And I think, and let's just, here is the article summary. Okay. Oops. Okay, so I've given it all that. Now, again, I'm just going to run it. I don't think it's going to... Okay, so there we go. It might run a different article, But let's see. So what was the summary that we got? Toronto writer reflects on her decision for movies in the West End. Da, 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 da. Okay, so this is like one of those editorials. Let's see. But you know what? It's like that random editorial stuff that sometimes you'll get like really interesting content from. So let's see what we have here. Okay. So this is now adding substance. So the 2025 Canadian federal election is scheduled to take place, da-da-da, election day, advanced voting, da-da-da-da-da, political contacts, Carney called the dissolution, da-da-da-da-da. Awesome. Okay. So I don't actually really like this article so much. I want to actually use the same one that we were using before. So hang on. Where was it? I think it was, da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. Let's try this. Oops. So now keep in mind, okay, we found the article, we downloaded the article, we took it from HTML to text, we've created a summary, and now we had research analyst. Okay, so these are the different little things. And let's see what this one looks like. Very curious. Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President held the first meeting, da-da-da-da-da, key points, tone and da. Okay, so you notice now, like, look at all these different added pieces of substance. Like, all we had was an original article that then gave us a summary, but like, look how much more we got from it, okay? So now that's good. So here's what we want to do next, okay? And this is going to be a very simple way to do it. You're going to add something known as, okay, so actually, I'm trying to think here. If you're looking for text only, if you wanted text only, this right here would probably be this would be great. If you want something a little bit more advanced, then you're going to want to include something like, again, let's think of what we can use that would be simple for people. So let's say, I'm actually curious, are we able to access the new, image thingy? Probably not. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just use DALL-E 3. So DALL-E 3 is it's OpenAI's initial image generation thingy. It's not that great. There's much better, and I'll show you those in future videos. But for now, I just want to give you simple so you can sort of get comfortable, and then from there we'll figure things out. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to unlink. I'm going to create another OpenAI chat completions. And the reason I'm going to do this, and this time I'm going to use 4.0 system, just to show you the difference. So again, remember, we can go role. You're an expert prompt engineer. You will receive inputted data such as an article, a summary, and substance. Your role will be to then create a prompt, for DALL-E, I don't know if I'm spelling this right, whatever, 3. The style should be as follows. Hyper realistic, 8K, iPhone, blah, blah. Okay, something like that. And you'll see why. Again, it's pretty good, but it's not great. There's better solutions. But again, like always, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go back to ChatGPT to iterate on the prompt. Hey, here's another prompt. Let's knock it out of the park. Sometimes you want to be nice. Maybe it'll work harder for your approval. It's weird. Okay, so here we go. Okay. So it's given me this whole thing. Fantastic. It's exactly what I wanted. So once again, copy, paste. Boom. Okay. Let's just bring that up. Let's put some markdown. And then, okay, output format, blah, blah. Great. Cool. Okay, I'm going to rename it just to no prompt for image. Okay. And then Can I run this? Okay, cool. So now it's going to generate a prompt. Okay, so a lone surfer riding a massive wave early in the morning. I don't know what the hell this has to do with, but we're going to run it all in motion and then we're going to go from there. Okay, so, and then we're going to image generator. Okay, let's see. Prompt. Still no. Okay. Let's save. And once we go to save, that way it should show up. DALL-E 3, prompt, beauty. Okay. So up until this point, check it out. This is what we have again. And I reiterate because I want to make sure we understand conceptually, because like I said at the beginning of the video, once we conceptually understand what's going on here, that's like half the battle. So RSS, okay, this is where we're getting all the articles from. You're going to go there, you're going to make an account, you're going to create a feed, you're going to copy the link to that feed, okay? You're going to open this module, the Watch RSS feed, and you're going to paste in that link. That's it. And then you're going to decide, obviously, how many you want, and that's it. And then you're going to go here, and once this runs, it'll give you a URL. You simply click that here. That'll download the actual website. This is going to take it from HTML, which is no good, and turn it into clean text so we can operate on it. Okay? Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get it summarized, which is right here. And as I told you, you basically write a draft prompt. You just throw your ideas out there, take it, throw it into ChatGPT, and it'll kick you back a phenomenal, perfect prompt, which I kind of have here. And then I'm going to input. So remember, system is always, it's always going to describe like the role, the tasks, the steps. This is kind of telling, so like this is basically training your employee, and then this is giving content to your employee. Okay, so like when I do the user, that's me giving it data to work with. Whereas when I'm doing system, it's basically giving it instructions on what to do and how to do. Okay, so we've got the summarizer, we've got the research analyst. Again, guys, I really like Perplexity. I highly recommend it. It was worth the $30 odd I spent to get lifetime access because it's been so, like now I wouldn't need it just because I'm more advanced, but listen, it's worth it. And if you're not sure or if you can't do it, hit me up. I'll send you like a Loom video of how to do it the other way even, or maybe I'll just do a different video on that stuff later on. But basically, here's the research analyst. Now we have a prompt that's going to, and like we have a module that's going to create a prompt for the image, which is here. Okay. So let's run it one more time. Let's see what happens. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So now it's doing all that research. Now it's generating the prompt. So we've got that, and now it should generate the image, and that will bring us to completion of 1 of 2. Okay. Let's see. So let's see the prompt: serene landscape depicting vibrant autumn falls, crystal clear textures, iPhone. Wonder what this, okay. And now it'll give us probably the URL. So this is where we should be able, let me just move myself. And let's just do this, like this. And so the output now will give you a URL. You copy it, and don't worry, I just want to see what it looks like for now. And this is the image that it generated. Okay, but again, there's better systems, there's better modules, there's like better providers than this, including ChatGPT. I just don't think they've made it available via API endpoints as of yet. But this isn't bad. And again, it's automated and it's going to be working with your article hand in hand. This is going to be working in the background, making life super, super easy for you. And in coming videos, I'll be creating much more sophisticated setups and builds and stuff like that. I just figured, you know, while we're getting our feet wet in this, and I'm assuming a lot of you people are new and are not familiar with this stuff and sort of just are interested and want to start slow and work our way to getting more and more experienced. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing here. Okay, so let's back up again. We have all this. We've got the article, we've got the research, we've got the prompt, we've got the image. Okay, so now what we're going to do, don't let this confuse you. It's called a router. So what that means is we have this whole flow left to right, starts here, goes all the way here. And at some point, I want to create different pathways, okay? And you'll understand why in a moment. And this is what it's going to look like, okay? So the first thing that I want to do, and you can do this in a couple of variations, and I may do this in a later video, but we can create assistants. Personally, I don't know if we need to do that just yet, but let's do the following. Let's just go to create a chat completion. Let's go back to, which one are we going to use? You know what, guys? So ChatGPT 4.5 dropped as a preview. I'm not saying use it exclusively, but I'm just curious what kind of content it's going to put out because apparently it's really good at writing. There's other models too, like, Google and stuff like that we'll use at different points in times in the series. But for the time being, let's see how it does. So we're going to go to system, we're going to do role. I'm going to say you are an expert at LinkedIn posts. You have been in the industry of creating viral posts for over 10 years. Your style of writing and storytelling is captivating. Hey guys, so I'm back. I took a little bit of a break and now I'm back and I wanted to finish this off to make sure that you got all the information you needed to create your very own content machine. So keep in mind, I'm showing you a sample. The purpose of this is to get you thinking, to give you the concepts. And as we move on, I'm going to give you a little bit more and more and more, and we're going to sort of evolve our skill set over time, because I feel like if I started at too much of a high level, it would be very difficult for you guys to keep up. And I know when I was starting out, I really appreciated the creators that took their time, repeated themselves, and kind of went at a slower pace. So that way things could make sense. So where we actually left off was here. And what I did was, if you recall, is I wrote up just a very generic prompt essentially. And then all I did was, like this is what I wrote, like, you're an expert at LinkedIn posts. You've been in the industry creating viral posts for over 10 years. Your style of writing and storytelling is captivating, and the users reading your posts feel like you're almost speaking directly to them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I took it and I threw it into ChatGPT, my buddy over here, and I said, you're a prompt engineer. I want you to take this. I want you to improve on it and spit something out that's even better. And it did. So it gave me all this: role, audience, objective. I like it. Looks really good, very polished. So of course, I copied it, I pasted it. The one thing I added, just from my own experience, I put in these rules where only provide the response, no commentary, no fluff, no quotations, nothing but the actual response. And the reason that I do that is simply because in the past, sometimes every so often, if you don't include something like that, it'll actually commentate back to you sometimes, and I'll be like, sure, here's da-da-da. And I don't want that at all. I just want literally the response, okay? And then, of course, as always, you want to add the user message. So message 2, message 1 system. This is the role. This is the objective. This is what your expectation and what the rules are. And user is basically, here's the article with the actual pass-through data. Here's the summary in this case. And here's the research, okay? And one thing I noticed, so by the way, this is for LinkedIn, so we can rename it. Okay. And I put a filter, basically just labeled it as LinkedIn agent so we can keep track. And then, by the way, prompt for image, I missed something that I noticed. So again, do not make this mistake because you want to avoid as many mistakes as possible. So again, the system message is there. It's doing everything it needs to. And then over here, you've got the article. So I missed out on the user and I wasn't really getting the right images and it didn't make sense. So now it should work. So we're just going to save. We're going to go choose to start from, we'll just pick the first one that pops up now, which is this one, and we'll start it off. So let's see what happens here, okay? So it's working. It's going through the research analyst. So again, we pulled the actual article from the RSS feed that we created. We then downloaded the HTML from that website. So all that text that exists on the website where the article is, we got it, we turned into regular text, we summarized it, we created a research analyst using Perplexity. Then we created another input to create the prompt for the image, which, by the way, the prompt is literally based on the article. So it should match whatever the article is. And then we create the image. And then we have this wonderful LinkedIn agent that should be putting together our incredible LinkedIn post right now as we speak. So if all goes well, we should receive this data. And this is just one of multiple different social platforms that you can have doing this stuff for you. So let's see. Okay, actually, first, let's make sure that the image came back. Okay, so create an AK photo, So now we're already seeing that this makes sense, right? Because now it's sophisticated business meeting between Canadian and European executives in a modern skyscraper, boardroom, blah, blah, blah. So like pretty good prompt. We go here and we simply want to copy the URL because this is where the actual image exists. You go here, and boom. Like not bad, right? Like that's pretty good. I mean, most people are sitting there and manually typing something up, but this naturally kind of goes hand in hand with our article. Let's see what it said. So this is the LinkedIn agent. So here it is. Is Canada putting all its trade eggs in one basket? Right now, a massive slice of our exports head south over the border. Sure, it's familiar ground. Market advisor to the EU. Here's where you come in. As a business leader, have you thought about diversifying your own customer base outside of North America? Have you considered the EU and other global markets? And then here's a call to action. I'd love to hear your take and thoughts below. So like this is pretty good. I could see why this 4.5 version of ChatGPT is better because this feels pretty natural. And again, this was with very quick, basic prompting. And of course, I'm going to include all the prompts in the Skool community along with the templates and all that stuff. So that's the LinkedIn agent. Very cool. And then I'm thinking, okay, what else can we do here? So we could do Twitter. Now, Twitter is a bit of a challenge in the sense that you have to create an API key. The connection for it is a bit of a challenge, but I'll show you what you do. So I'm already connected, okay? But for more information on how to connect, you would click here. And then this basically walks you through it. It tells you the actual website and what to do. And if you guys need help with this stuff, let me know. I'll walk you through it. Like we'll do some one-on-one coaching or something if you want. Or like I said, I'm happy to build these things out under the agency that I run. If you're looking for something a little bit more high level, super, crazy. But this is just pretty basic stuff to show you the possibilities. So here's what we're going to do. So now that we've got this, we're going to get rid of that. Oops. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce something called Airtable. Airtable, some of you may have heard me spoken about this in the past. Airtable is basically like Google Sheets on steroids. So what we're going to first do is we're going to go to Airtable. Okay, and then I'm going to go to create, and this is what you're going to do by yourself as well. So you're going to go to airtable.com. It's free for the most part. Start from scratch. It's a weird color. Let's see if we can change it. Okay, yeah, not really liking this color at all, but whatever. So the base here is going to be called tutorial content. So you can name it whatever you want. And then what we're going to do is title, URL, article, URL, article, summary. Okay, and you'll understand why we're doing this in a moment. So we have the article. Let's do article title, article URL, article summary, image URL. By the way, this should be website, so one sec. Okay. And then this we should change to text, single line. Actually, rather, we're going to go to multi-line. One sec. Long text. Okay. I'm going to change this to URL, article title. What else? Let's go back to make for a sec. Okay. Hang on, guys. One sec. Just thinking here. Okay. LinkedIn post. No. Platform. So you would do this. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating pretty much like a database. This is where I'm going to be able to control and decide which of the pieces of content I want posted when and where I can preview them and stuff like that. Okay. So we're going to do LinkedIn. We could do Instagram's fine. We could do Facebook. We could do X, aka Twitter. And we can do, you know what, let's leave Instagram out for now. And let's just cover those ones, okay? So we got to decide which platform. And then what we're going to do is write status. And for status, we're going to write, and this is very important. So we're going to write status. Okay. Nope. Oh. One sec, guys. Single select. Status. I don't know why that confused me for a sec. Approve. Do approve in green. And then we're going to do create a time. And we're going to do modify time. This is very important, okay? We need the last modified, not by, time. Perfect. Okay, so let's go through this super quick and you'll see. Wait, content. Oops, 1 second. And then content, post, create field. Okay, I think we should be good. So here's what's going to happen. Basically, on the make side of things, we're going to create different articles, or rather, we're going to create different pieces of content for different social media platforms. Here I have LinkedIn. We're going to do X, Twitter, and we're going to do Facebook. And then I'm thinking we're going to do one that's going to create content, like writing content, which I think we should do. Let's see. How do we add another table again? Add table. Table, start from scratch. Scripts. Oops. Again, this one's like, this is a really good content machine, but I mean, there's absolutely wild things that we could do that I'll be doing over time. Content. Okay. So as you see, we have all this. We're just going to delete that. And then when I go back here, I'm going to add Airtable. Now, again, just like always, you're going to create a connection. And the way you would do that is you would just click here for online help. And then Make is really good at explaining how to create those connections. Okay, so you just literally follow the instructions. Again, I'm open and available to take any messages or comments. I'll help you go through this if you need it. But for the purpose of saving time and just showing you structure, I'm going to skip this part. But as a reminder, anytime you're seeking to add something and you want to connect, the information's always going to be here. Okay, so in this case, we're going to go here, tutorial content. That's the name of my base. And then we're going to go to this table for content. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me all these headers that I created. Is this going to work? You know what, actually? Sorry, guys. Let me go back here. I think I need to just simply take this to single line text and save. Okay. Then we're going to go back. And yeah, so we're going to go to Airtable. So article title, you just literally match it. Okay, so title, article URL, article summary, right here, summarizer. That's why it's good to name your modules. Image URL, this is super important. So the data and the URL, beautiful. Now, actually, I need to refresh because I made that change on Airtable. Perfect. Platform. So, this would be LinkedIn, right? You just can literally type it in. Content, result, status. This is important. We'll leave this blank for now. We'll put smart links on. We'll do it like this. We will save, okay? Do this. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it. Oops, we got to do it like this again. So we're going to do it with another article now. Hang on, guys. All right, let's see what happens here. So I'm just giving you a broad overview. This is a very good foundation for you guys to learn concepts and understand, how do we even use this sort of thing? What's the power involved with introducing AI into your actual work life for the purpose of things like content and other things of that sort? So now that we filled everything out and we mapped everything in, starting with article title, article URL, and everything is mappable from previous modules, you just literally just paste it in accordingly to match the headers or the column names. And then you click save again, and we're just going to try running it one more time. And now what's going to happen is it'll start actually populating in our Airtable here in a moment. So once it loads, actually already started. So this may have been the last one. Let's see what's going on. Hold on. So this one's still going through it. So it's analyzed it. And I'll show you what this looks like. It may or may not be the same article because I know I ran it once. But let's see. But you know what? For now, let's just look at this. So here's what happens. You get the title, okay? So the cost of living in Toronto, how residents are coping in light of a proposed rental boom. Here's the summary. So this is the summarizer we used within the actual, that was the one module. Here's the URL. Here's the image. So you can literally just click and say, oh, okay, cool. It's kind of an interesting style. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, so you just basically look at it. Okay. Here's the post. So this is actually for LinkedIn, as it says here. Living alone in Toronto is becoming a luxury. A proposed rental boom threatens to push costs even higher, turning independence from a mark of adulthood into a badge of privilege. Oof, that is sad. Meanwhile, across Canada, we're seeing an unprecedented wave of protests against Tesla, signaling deeper tensions in an industry that's reshaping how we move and live. Let's not forget about the icy chaos on our roads and da-da-da-da-da. So this is a pretty pessimistic article, but you sort of get the point. And the reason that I prompted it the way that I did is because mainly I want it to sound like it's written by a person, and I want it to have an opinion. I don't want it to be like that generic AI crap that we're all used to, okay? But this is for the purpose of just giving you an idea, okay? Here's the other article. It just came in on its own. So as you could see, and if we go back here, here's what it is, okay? So Jim Stanford, the name of the writer of the article. Here's why we'll survive Trump's tariffs. I hope he's right. Economist, da-da-da-da-da. Think Canada can't survive Trump's tariffs. Think again. Here's a surprising. Take a closer look. And it gives you a pretty good breakdown with the let's talk. So for LinkedIn, this is pretty good. And here's the image. Okay, so by the way, just a little bit of a hack for you. If you don't like the image that it's generating, and I do this myself sometimes, you could click the link of the article. You could click this, right click it. Oops, let's get rid of this. Okay, copy image address. Okay, so now you've copied it, and we go here, we delete it, we paste in the image address that we just got from the article if we like it better. And now this is the article that's going to go out. Sorry, this is the image that's going to go out with your content. So really cool. Okay. So as this happens, so again, let's just go back, and I'm not going to do all the different connections here, but the idea would be, and I'll do this in a follow-up video where we're actually going to create specific platform agents. I just don't want this to take too long. And this is more of just a concept video to give you an idea of what we're doing. Okay. So you would add, just like we did LinkedIn, you would do Instagram, you would do Twitter, you would do like a script writing one, and then I'll show you how you create videos from it. But this would be the idea. You connect it to Airtable, okay? And we're just gonna save it, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to create a new scenario, and I'll include these templates as always, of course. Oops. And we're gonna go to Airtable, and we're gonna go to watch records, and this is important, and we're gonna go to the tutorial content and the table content, okay? And the trigger field is gonna be last modified, and this is important. And what we're gonna use is status, okay? And, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So now this is gonna operate, let's just say, oops, let's save it. Set this to operate every minute. So throughout the day, you can have it checking to see. So ideally, what would happen is this, okay? So the scenario is now active, okay? But what I want to show you, every day, every morning, or whatever point throughout the day, you would check your content database, right? Because it's all going to come here. And ideally, what it would say is not just LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and all the other stuff. Like, it'll show you the content that you have available. You'll go through it, just kind of like I did, like this, okay? And you're just gonna click approve. You're gonna leave this one alone, you're gonna click approve here. And then what's gonna happen is once you click approve, because in the next follow-up videos that I make to this, we'll actually connect some of these things, but so that way you can see it in motion. But if, let's say, I just run this, as you can see, it pulled it up. So it found the article that I approved. Okay, so when we go here, I actually specifically approved this one, the cost of living in Toronto. However, I didn't mention anything here. So that means based on where I click approve, it knows. And because it knows, that means I set up the second stage to this automation that then is going to allow for it to post to the appropriate place. So for example, because I don't want to post it on my account, but you would add LinkedIn just like this. Okay, so you'd go to LinkedIn and you would go to create an image post, I want to say. File. Okay, so we would want to do this. Get file. So remember we did the HTTP thing. Let's do get file. And then we have the URL, which is the image, remember? So that means we have article URL, article title, image URL. Perfect. Okay. We have this automation set up now, and I'm going to walk us through it in a moment. And then I'm just going to open the original one. So just give me a sec here. I'm going to go back into Make. I'm going to log in. I'm going to go to scenarios. And then we're going to go to, where is it? I believe it's here. Okay, so this is part 1 of 2. I'll include it in the Skool community so you can download it. But essentially what we've got going on is we're using the RSS feed to get the article. We're then taking the article, we're cleaning it up, or rather we're downloading it directly from the feed, from the website itself. We're then taking that HTML, we're cleaning it up, we're turning it into plain text. Then we're using ChatGPT to summarize it. We're then using Perplexity to basically research on top of it, add substance and more information relative to what's being said in that article. So it's not, just like dry basic stuff. We're then using another ChatGPT module for the purpose of creating a prompt for the image that's going to be generated. We're going to then have that image generated as well by ChatGPT. Normally you would set up a router just like this here. And the idea is you're going to basically have LinkedIn agent to Airtable. Then, you would have Instagram to Airtable, Facebook to Airtable, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the first part of the actual setup of this this content machine. This would be the second. Okay, so remember, with the last one, what ends up happening is it all downloads to Airtable and it shows up like a new row like this. And you want to use these columns, or at least that's what I use. Okay, so article title, article URL, which is the link, the summary, the image URL, the platform. So for example, when you're doing Instagram, you would write Instagram. When you're doing Facebook, you would write Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. The content itself, so the actual writing content. This is the kicker here for status. And then you need created date and last modified date, and it's very important. So let me walk you through it. So say we open this up, we go through it, we're like, pretty cool, like it a lot. You go here to status, you click approve. That's all you do. But let me show you what actually happens. So over here, because this is going to run every minute and it's going to be watching changes to records, meaning the records that we're creating, which is the content, it's specifically watching to see which records have been updated based on their status, and what it's looking to find is approved. Okay, so you could even take it a step further. You could create a filter and you could do that. And then just to confirm, we'd go back here. And it's actually approved and it's case sensitive. So we could just do, status equal to prove. Okay, so this way it's specifically only giving you the stuff that's been approved. And that way, so it's posted it to my LinkedIn. I'm going to delete it in a moment. So what has it done? It checks Airtable to see if any statuses have been updated, especially only if it's been approved. Okay. Status equals approved, check mark. The next thing you want to do for LinkedIn and for others, when you want to use an image, you need to do this HTTP, okay? And this is what you do. So the HTTP, get a file, you're just going to click in the image URL because it's creating that image, or it's just an image that you found from somewhere else on the internet, kind of like what I showed you, where you can go to the actual article, copy the URL for the image, paste it in instead. But either which way, you're going to do this here. You're going to press image URL so that way it knows what to download. And when you go to LinkedIn, all you do is get a file. So it's literally right here. Okay, so for title, just literally map it to the title. So article title, because now this is how the content's going to be created. The content, so the post, like what it's actually saying, visibility is public, main feed, and is reshared disabled? No. So this is the image, this is the title, and this is the content, and you're creating a user image post on LinkedIn. That's it. So once you turn this on like this will run every minute in the background, simply scanning as this is filling up in real time. Because again, one thing I didn't show you guys, like here, we can have this set to run, I don't know, every 15 minutes, every hour, whatever you want. We can have it pull 1 article, 2 articles. So essentially this database of yours will get filled up, and all you're going to do is you're just going to look and be like, that's cool, approve, and that's it, and it'll post. So this was a very basic sort of overview, believe it or not. I wanted to really sort of give us an easy ramp up to when we get a little bit more in detail and whatnot with this sort of stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you need any assistance, let me know. Would love to hear some feedback in the comments, and stay tuned.